Good morning, students. So today we'll start a new chapter, that is chapter 6, memory and input output ports. So today we'll discuss different types of input devices, and in that we have the following. So what are input devices? So these input devices are peripheral devices, that external devices that are attached to the computers through USB ports, and it accepts data and sends it to the computer for processing. So we have the different types of input devices. Some of the input devices are keyboard. You all know what is a keyboard, right? So keyboard is the most common input device through which user can enter data into a computer. So without the keyboard, entering the data becomes very difficult. We can enter data through a mouse, but keyboard with the keyboard it becomes very easy for the users to enter the data, since the keyboard contains all the characters needed uh, for the data entry. So computer keyboard, it looks similar to typewriter keyboards, but with additional keys such as like it contains alphabets, it contains numbers, which is called as alphanumeric keys. Okay, so it contains punctuations such as like semicolon, comma, okay, uh, then brackets, braces, like that. So function keys, that is like F1, F2, like that. Okay, special keys such as like page up, page down, alt, control, delete. Okay, so the most common keyboard format is the QWERTY's keyboard. Okay, so it can have anywhere from 102, 104, 109. Okay, so these days the number of keys in the keyboard is just random. It can be anywhere from 100 to 112, like that. Okay, so next we have is the mouse. So mouse is a handheld pointing device which is moved by our hand across the computer screen. So now, using a keyboard, in a keyboard there's cursor keys attached to that, through which we can move up, down, right and left, like that. But it is very difficult to move the cursor that is on the screen using the keyboard. So in order to make it much easier to move the cursor, a mouse is used. Okay, so this mouse is kept on a flat surface and has two buttons, that is one on the left and one on the right side, for clicking and to detect movements with the help of a cursor on the screen. And in between the left and right button there is a scroll wheel, okay, through which you can zoom in and out, and it is also used for different purpose. So mouse can be of three types, namely like mechanical mouse. Okay, and then mechanical mouse has a roller ball fitted below the mouse. Okay, as the ball moves, as you move the mouse, the ball also moves, and hence the cursor moves. Then you have your optical mouse, which has a LED light implanted inside the mouse. Okay, so it is light sensitive mouse. And then you have a wireless mouse. Okay, so next you have is a joystick. Now I'm sure that most of you all have also seen joystick, and some of you must have used a joystick. Okay, so joystick, it is similar to a mouse, that is like it does the same work of a mouse, except that uh, the mouse in a mouse, when the mouse stops, the cursor on the screen also stops. In the case of a joystick, it has a stick with buttons, okay, with many buttons and a trigger button attached to that. Okay, so the movement of the stick controls the cursor or pointer on the screen. Okay, so when you move the stick forward, the cursor moves forward, and you don't need to keep on moving the stick forward. Once you make it forward, okay, the the cursor keeps on going, or it is mostly used in like for games, like that. Okay, so if you see in If you see in, yeah, what if you're playing games or like that, okay, you use a joystick, right, instead of a mouse. Now next is your light pen. So light pen is a pointing device. Okay. It looks like a pen. On the tip of the pen, of the light pen, it contains a light sensitive diode. Okay. So a light sensor diode is implanted on that. It detects the light coming from the screen. Okay. And through that light pen, we can draw lines or curves on the screen. So it is mostly used for graphics work. Okay. Then we have is touchscreen. So everyone, I think, is also familiar with the touchscreen. If you see your tablet, your mobile phone, okay, that facility, that is technology, is a touchscreen technology. So it is a transparent touchscreen, touch sensitive display screen, where user can touch on the screen and enter the data or input data. Okay. So when the touch screen is touched, a signal is sent to the computer. Okay. So by that, the location of the signal where it was touched is known by the computer. Okay. Now you have a trackball. Now trackball uh, looks like an inverted mechanical mouse. Okay, in a mechanical mouse you have the rollerball test, right? So when you invert that mechanical mouse, a trackball looks like that. Okay, so it is actually stationary. Okay, stationary pointing device there, where a ball half projected inside a socket. Okay, so it contains sensors to detect the rotation of the ball. So when you move the ball with your fingers, okay, forward or backward or left or right, okay, or adjacent side, okay, the cursor also moves along with the ball. Okay, so trackballs are mostly used where in like where the space is limited, the work environment space is limited. Okay, depending on the convenience of the user. Okay, earlier laptops also used to have this trackball attached on the laptop. Okay. Scanners. So scanners allows users to transfer hard copy pictures and text documents to the computer. Okay, so uh, I hope that some of you must have seen a scanner. Okay, so scanner is there are different types of scanners. Okay, so the scan pictures. Okay, the scanner scans the pictures or documents, text documents, and it converts the analog data into digital form. Okay, and is transferred to the computer, and then from the computer, okay, digitally it is shown on the screen. So the hard copy data is transferred to the computer. Okay, so you have different types of scanners. Lots of scanners are there: flatbed scanners, handheld scanners, photo scanners, drum scanners. Okay, like that. Now again, we have is graphic tablets. Okay, so graphic tablet is a pressure sensitive pad. Okay, it's a tablet. Okay, uh, which is plugged to the computer. Okay, so using a special pen, we can draw on the tablet, so it converts the analog data into digital format. Okay, so using a graphic tablet, you can draw images, you can make your own signatures like that. Okay, so next you have is your smart card. So a plastic card that looks like a credit card. Okay, but there is a chip implanted on it, that is an IC. Okay, it looks like a SIM card. Okay, so that chip contains secure information uh, through which users or can access vital information, okay, resources, uh, by inserting the card into a card reader. Okay, if you see your PAN card, your Aadhaar card, okay, your driving license, all these are examples of your smart card like that. Okay, because it contains informations relating to you, or the details, data details. Okay, so barcode readers. So barcode readers, it scans a barcode image, which are vertical bars. It contains the values description of the product, which is then fed into the computer. Okay, so barcodes are pasted on the product by the manufacturer and carries the product number. So if you see your textbook also, or if you see any products that you buy, okay, you will see that in all the products, on the back side, or in yeah, on the back side of it, there are some vertical lines. Okay, dark vertical lines. So that is the analog description of the product number of that particular product. Okay, so using a scanner, a handheld scanner, okay, or a stationary scanner, the barcode, that is a barcode reader, okay, the those vertical lines can be read, and then that data details goes into the computer. Okay, so where the user can get the more information about that particular product. So biometric sensors, now indeed, there are lots of biometric sensors like uh, touch sensors, okay, fingerprint sensors, retinal biometric sensor, okay, voice sensor. So different types of sensors are there, but in your textbook it is explained as a fingerprint sensor. Okay, so it captures the fingerprint images for identification and verification procedures. Okay, so it captures, matches the uniqueness of each print read by the sensor and compares it to the one stored in the local database resources. So I'm sure that most of you, or almost all of you, have done your biometric sensor when you went for your Aadhaar enrollment, right? You you took your fingerprint sensor, and then you took your retinal scan sensor. Okay, so those machines are biometric sensor machines. Okay, you have then is optical character reader, that is in short OCR. So it reads the characters printed by computer printers, cash registers, type writers, and also handwritten documents. Okay, it converts these documents or text documents into digital books or files. Okay, mostly you will see it being used in libraries. Okay, so the librarian will scan all the book covers, okay, the book contents word by word, okay, line by line, using that OCR machine. Okay, so that it can be saved in electronic format as an ebook, like that. Okay, so optical mark recognition, that is OMR, uh, when you are appearing for your exam or competitive exam, okay, you are given a piece of paper where you have to fill in the boxes, okay, that is oval shaped or checkbox format, okay, as for, when you're appearing for like MCQ type, that is multiple choice question. Okay, so uh, that is called as an OMR sheet, okay, OMR paper. So that OMR paper, okay, is transferred or through or scanned by an OMR reader. Okay, so OMR extracts data by scanning the printed form, which is marked with pen or pencil. Okay, so the data in mark is marked in checkboxes or fill in fields which the OMR machine recognizes. So when you are paying for exams, okay, you fill up the oval shapes, right? So you need to fill it up properly. So those are examples of like uh, bubble sheet methods. Okay, so the OMR machine reads those uh, dark marked portion, okay, and then from there it gathers the points, and then it marks the form. Okay, now magnetic ink character recognition reader, MICR. So this is a character recognition system that use special ink and characters. So when a document that contains this ink needs to be read, it passes through that MICR machine, okay, which magnetize that ink and translate the magnetized information into character. Okay, especially you will see this in banks. So in checkbooks, okay, papers, the bank code numbers, the check numbers, okay, these are printed with a special type of ink, okay, and then the MICR machine reads uh, that that ink characters, okay, which then gets magnetized, okay, and then gets converted into characters, okay. So the MICR machine does all of that, okay. So that is these are some of the examples of the input devices, okay. So in the next class I'll be discussing about output devices, okay. So that will be all for today.